I don't see any screen.
Me neither. Where is the...
What did you break, Tess?
I'm not quite sure, BH. Can you hear us?
Oh no.
The little bar keeps going up and down.
Yeah. So the
Yeah, I assume the audio's there, but the video's
audio's
missing.
there, but the video's missing.
Maybe go to edit. Did I somehow turn off the camera?
Mm-mm.
No, it says webcam.
It says webcam.
Hmm.
Hi, people. We're figuring out a webcam. Blame me. It's my fault.
First it switched, and now it's this. This is a taste of the podcast.
Camera. That's not. That's just a camera app. Hi, Rachel.
Rachel, can you see us? Are we invisible?
Yeah, I didn't think to ask anyone else. It may be that we just can't see us.
Yeah, maybe. It might be better.
It could be. Can you see us?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Rachel can see us.
Huh.
Okay.
but we can't see.
But we can't see ourselves.
That's weird.
Yeah, well, that works.
All right.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah.
Are we centered?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. All is well.
So Tess only half broke the.
I only have.
Laptop.
Okay, it's okay.
So that means the camera's working. It just means that YouTube. So you know what? I'm not going to mess with anything because that seems like a bad thing to do. Since it's actually working, we are just going to be blacked out. We're a sports team playing in our own facility, so we're blacked out and we can't watch us.
Oh, got it. Got it. I understood that sports reference. Yeah, go local sports team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't read that yet either. Hey, this came out this week.
Yeah, we can talk about comics or not, whatever you want to do.
We can talk
Doesn't
about
matter.
comics.
Like I know we
Why
both
not?
read Duke.
Yeah, we can talk about Duke.
We both read Duke.
We'll talk about books. We'll talk about anything else. And I hope you can see because I can't see. So I hope I'm doing the book. Duke, number 4. Number 4? 4?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Excellent. This is really weird.
So this is a 5-issue series. We've now made it to number 4. So I'm assuming that all hell is just going to break loose next. Not that it hasn't broken loose on every
it's pretty
issue,
loose in every issue, yeah.
but
yeah.
with only one issue left, man, do they really?
Yeah.
It's just going to be a knockdown drag out because we still really haven't gotten. We've gotten all the people who's going to start GI Joe, but we haven't really seen how that's going to get formed.
And like half of them are chasing down the other half and trying to put them in prison. Like it's very odd start to GI Joe, and like Cobra doesn't really exist yet.
Interiors.
Yeah, but I will say it's amazing. Like I have not been this invested in GI Joe since like 1987. Like honestly.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been actually this invested in GI Joe. Like I remember the movie, animated movie.
Yeah,
but.
And honestly, a lot of what's going on in the Cobra Commander book is based off the movie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff this week.
A lot of good stuff.
I haven't read any Marvel stuff because
a lot of Spoderman related stuff.
Yeah, yes. I was gonna say let's break up the Spider-Man stuff.
Like
but
4 out of 5 of those books are Spider-Man.
You can't really. All right. We'll just start here. We'll go next. Amazing Spider-Man number 46.
This is my pick of the week.
What?
Because Aunt Anna.
Oh, we're still that's right. We're still dealing with
and
the
man,
whole Aunt Anna.
She
thing.
is amazing. Like anyone who is sweet enough and who is kind enough so that an entire mental institution full of supervillains is like, actually, you should leave her alone. Like, just leave her be. Yeah. God, I love this book. Anyway, my pick of the week, cause Aunt Anna. Like the Spider-Man stuff is great. The action adventure stuff is fun. but the Aunt Anna stuff is really what I cared about. And this is setting up to a revival of the Sinister Six.
Because we got the new Green Goblin coming up.
Yeah,
Which they say new Green Goblin. So which gives me hope that they're not going to screw up the whole Norman thing.
I hope not, man, because like I have never enjoyed Norman as much as I am right now.
I actually hate Norman, but I like
Same.
this Norman.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't want them to mess that up.
Yeah. So anyway, it's not, and Ramita Jr. did the cover, but not the interiors.
The artist on this, she is amazing.
Yeah, it's
like
really
I have
good.
thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
Last week and looking through there, like I haven't really seen a whole lot of her stuff. I after last week, I went to her Instagram page. So
Gotcha.
I've now seen a bunch of her stuff on Instagram, but I hadn't seen a bunch of her stuff in comics. But
one of the things I'm really enjoying about this is the Sandman stuff, because I remember back in the late 80s, early 90s, when Sandman was kind of teetering between being a villain and a hero. Like he joined the Avengers for a minute.
Well, he was part of Silver Sable's team too.
Right. And so this is like giving us a little more insight into why that was happening. It's because he's got two distinct personalities going on in there, and they're constantly fighting for control.
Right.
And we get a bit more of that in this issue. So my prediction is however many issues in the future, the Sinister Six are going to have Spider-Man on the ropes, and Sandman is going to be the guy
Snaps
who saves him.
on the Sinister.
That's my guess. We'll see. We'll see what actually happens.
Maybe Spider-Man's going to put together his Sinister Six
Or Superior Six.
Da, da, da. So I finally got around to reading Wonder Woman from last week, which was really good. The fact that we'll go off topic. The fact that Superman will keep talking about like how he does something, and then she was like, "Do you remember when you died?" Like, well, that's pretty good, actually.
The dynamic between Diana and Clark as just really good friends, we don't see enough. And I want a whole book of just the two of them hanging out.
And the other one of my other favorite things in there is just how much high maintenance Superman is compared to Black Canary and her. She was wondering, like, this never happens when we come here. So that was pretty funny. But because I was way behind on reading while I'm bringing this up, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. I did not enjoy it as much as Nightwing.
Really?
So all I'm going to say is Tom Taylor should be writing every Bat book.
Agreed.
Because no one understands the Bat family as much as Tom Taylor.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And basically the whole Nightwing issue from last week was Batman narrating how great Nightwing is and how much he's grown. And it was a father looking onto a son talking about what a person he is and how he's done that. And it got to be about 3 pages before the end, and then I freaking teared up.
Oh,
there was just a page where it was just this one whole thing of like just interlog of Batman, and it was hard. Like it was. I
can't wait to read it.
It's a 2-issue part, but this last week's was all from the point of that. Like all the dialogue was really in boxes, all Batman. Mm-hmm. Like you got the story stuff, but it was all like it was
very, very good.
Yeah, that book was hard last week, and it shouldn't have been, but it was. But like it's like I quit reading Batman a long time ago because it just got to be too much, right? Like it's just, to me, it wasn't him. And like reading these 2 issues with Tom Taylor, it's like, well, this is really who Batman is. Like this is how he truly handles things, and he's not like this dark.
One of my favorite Batman bits ever is like it's Batman. I think it was Batman and Superman, and they save this kid. And Batman just like pulls out a lollipop and gives to the kid to make the kid feel better. And whoever he's with, and I don't remember if it was Superman or somebody else, and they were like, "Is that just in your pouch?" And he's like, "Yeah, I keep him next to the smoke bombs." And they're like, "What happens if you pull out a smoke bomb and hand it to a kid?" And he's like, "Well, that won't happen." And they're like, "How do you know?" And he's like, "Maybe I should move the lollipops."
Yeah, it was pretty.
But
good.
like that kind of interaction with Batman, I
Yeah.
love.
Mhm.
Where like clearly he is a man who loves kids and wants to make sure that no child goes through the same trauma he went through.
And that's really what this 2 issues was really about.
Yeah.
And that hit hard in this other issue.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like even like little things, right? Like there's a part at the end where Nightwing saves this kid, and this kid idolizes Nightwing, and he says, you know, you go on over there and you go run over the Batman, and the kid's like, should I? And then Nightwing looks at him, he goes, don't worry, he's protected me my whole life.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And I'm like, dang.
And Nightwing basically like makes a move where like he knows he's gonna get shot.
Mhm.
And like even though his costume is armored, whatever part of his body he gets shot in is gonna get shattered.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care. There's a kid in danger.
Yeah.
And he's like, I
It
will
is.
jump in front of the bullet.
It's 100%. Those 2 issues is 100% what the Bat family is truly about.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time reading some of the other Bat stuff now just because it's like anyway.
Yeah.
But the Nightwing stuff, if you're not reading Nightwing, Tom Taylor's only got one more.
And
unfortunately, he's only got one more run.
I really
But-
feel like that's why I loved Injustice and Deceased so much, is because he really understands the Bat family. And even when they're at their darkest and moodiest and whatever, like they're trying to be better. They're trying really hard, not only for themselves to be better, but to make everyone else around them better. And I think a lot of Bat writers lose that.
Yeah.
They're so interested in making it dark and gritty and fighty that they forget who Batman is.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
like you can be dark, but if your whole mission is to make things better, you're not there to make things worse.
Yeah.
That came out of the Wonder Woman book. That was the other good thing in the Wonder Woman book was
Mhm.
basically Superman was making something and Wonder Woman's like, no, you're the one who sees the best in people. Oh, Superman said it.
Mhm.
Right? No, Wonder Woman says to Superman, you're the one who sees the best in people. Bruce sees the worst in people. I just see how they are.
Yeah. Wonder Woman's like, I'm the realist.
Yeah, she's
You're
like,
the
I'm the
idealist,
realist, yeah.
and he's the pessimist.
But
And that's their dynamic. And I'm like, you know what?
it's
that's
100%.
accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's 100%. But once again, just because Batman sees the worst in people, I don't know who else has that kind of personality, but but just because it doesn't mean that you don't hope for the best. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, you just
Yep.
kind of have an idea of. So anyway, that was last week. We'll get back to this week. Ultimate Spider-Man #3. I didn't read it, so
Yeah. So
this is Marvel. I haven't read Marvel stuff.
it continues on, like Hickman's making rebuilding the Ultimate Universe, but he's doing it like very slowly. Like half of this issue is Peter and his daughter trying to figure out what the costume should be like, because she's like, no, this thing you're wearing is scary. You need to put some color in it.
Yeah, because just in case you don't know, the costume is a symbiote.
Well,
Kinda.
we learned that it's not exactly
not
a
exactly a
symbiote in
symbiote.
this issue.
Yeah,
we also
but-
learned who this new Green Goblin is,
Gobble gobble.
and we
Oh, wait,
learned
that's a
whether or
different-
not he is a hero or a villain.
Ooh, is that Bullseye?
Theoretically, it is Bullseye.
Hey, look.
We get Ultimate Bullseye, and Bullseye's throwing like cards.
It's Gambit as Bullseye.
yeah. I was like,
So it's Ultimate Bullseye Gambit.
yeah. Like, protect the children. But anyway, it continues to be maybe the best version of Spider-Man on the rack right now. There's some stuff.
His
with Mary-
daughter's adorable.
Yeah, his daughter is super cute. And there's some stuff at the beginning with Mary Jane and their son. And Mary Jane's like, what's going on with you guys? And Peter's like, nothing. We're having some daddy-daughter time. And Mary Jane and the son is like, uh-huh. It's still weird. Okay. Anyway, it's super cute. And the action adventure stuff's great. The stuff with Jonah and Ben, because for those of you who haven't been reading this, Jonah is partnered up with Ben Parker, and they have left the Daily Bugle because it's owned by Wilson Fisk to start their own newspaper. And in this issue, they find an office building that looks like it was blown up. And that's their new office.
Da, da, da.
And then Bullseye says some stuff, making it sound like Wilson Fisk is like a minor player in whatever's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So anyway, Ultimate Spider-Man continues to be great.
Because it's Ultimate.
Hopefully I have the right number of copies this time and we won't sell out on Wednesday.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Find out tomorrow. Tess.
You will find out tomorrow. I can guarantee it. But I don't see the future.
Next up is Harley Quinn 38. I think this is like a filler issue, right?
It is. It's
Yeah.
very much a one and done.
Yeah.
Even the backup story is like quick and done.
Yeah, they just ended a storyline last issue, and they're
Yeah.
picking it up again next issue. So this is kind of a
This issue is Harley's birthday. And she gets up in the morning and she makes her coffee and she goes to work and she doesn't mention her birthday and she doesn't say anything about it. And when she gets home, Ivy has planned a birthday party, a surprise party. And Harley's like, I think I should be calm and not get too worked up because, you know, when I get worked up, things get bad. And Ivy's like, but does it though?
the art's adorable in here too.
It is.
It's not Sweeney Boo this time, but
it's
the art's
not.
adorable.
But it is a very cute story, and it's about how Harley's not really a hero or a villain.
She just is.
And Ivy's not really a hero or a villain. Like they go and they attack a place that is destroying the environment, even though that like on the surface it's a normal company. It's basically the almond company of the DC universe.
Almonds.
Yeah. And then the backup story is literally a Harley Quinn version of Wile E. Coyote. It is all the Looney Tunes stuff. It's Harley and Kite Man.
That makes sense.
And Harley's the Coyote and Kite Man is the Roadrunner. And it is hilarious.
That somewhat makes sense. I'm really so I'm not a huge Harley Quinn fan, but I've enjoyed this book a lot. Because once again, if you've watched this on here, I really only picked it up for Sweeney Boo.
Mm-hmm.
But Teenie Howard is also a great writer, so the book has worked well. But I'm sitting there going, so I've been reading this Harley Quinn, right? I'm like, now she's going to go into the Suicide Squad book.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even read those two, right? Like, how does those two books coincide with? It's just really weird how they use her. For me, it's really weird how they use her character, right?
Yeah. I think
this, I like the way they're doing her character.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine I'm going to like it in Suicide Squad.
I will say cinematically, I really enjoyed Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. And then when they did the Suicide Squad and they explained why she was part of the team, I was like, you know what? That tracks. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like her personality didn't really change, but she's not really evil.
Right. I mean,
she doesn't do bad stuff for the sake of doing bad stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and once again, like the movie stuff doesn't bother me. And I mean, once again, I won't read the Suicide Squad. So it won't really matter because I'll keep reading this.
I'll probably read the first part.
But like it's just really weird at how you can have that dynamic of how she's going to get once again forced into this Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, I mean, Amanda Waller is really good at forcing people to do things.
Well, yeah, I mean that's Next up is Superior Spider-Man number 5. Is this the end of this arc?
No,
there's one more issue.
There's one more issue.
Okay, I couldn't remember if this was 5 or 6.
Yeah, and honestly, man, like every time Otto has the opportunity to do the right thing, he's like, "I will do the opposite."
I will refuse and do the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that's what happens when it's a villain.
And then there's like a little cameo by Spider-Boy at the end of it, which is super fun. He was in the previous issue and got blasted. I don't remember if it was issue 4 or issue 3. But Supernova, the villain of the story, like fried his back and he ended up in the hospital. And the next issue is, I think, going to feature a lot of Spider-Boy.
Yeah, I would say that too. Just by looking at the end of that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this book has got to go somewhere. Along with the Spider-Boy book, they've got to go somewhere, right?
Yeah. Honestly, Spider-Boy, I don't care where it goes. It's so much fun. I enjoy it so much. This has been a lot of fun too, but I think that if you were not reading Superior Spider-Man back in the day, it may not mean as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's probably a lot of truth to that. If you didn't read the original Superior Spider-Man,
yeah, I'm not sure this one will matter.
Yeah,
but it is.
I mean, Tess is reading it; she's already yawning. So,
Dang it, Tess.
We can't know.
Yeah, I want to split up Spider books again.
All right, before you start on that, Brian, I don't think there is too much Fisk in comics. Of course, I'm not reading everything with him in it. Like I'm not reading Daredevil.
What did we miss?
Has there been a bit too much Fisk in comics lately?
Oh.
I have yet to enter an era where there was too much Wilson Fisk.
Well, they took him out for a long time. Like he disappeared for ever since Luke Cage became mayor, which was a few years ago.
Wow,
he's been gone. Yeah, that the law in New York has been a law for a few years, real time wise, but it's they didn't really play into it a whole lot until Gang War again. Right. So he really hadn't been in comics for a while. So it was just until once again this Gang War, and really he didn't play a huge part in Gang War, right? Like he showed up, but he didn't.
And like the Fisk in Ultimate Spider-Man, we saw him in the first issue, but we've only seen him talked about him in the second and third issue. Like he hasn't really been a presence. He's just been kind of like this idea in the background of the guy that owns the Daily Bugle, the guy that's doing some shady stuff, but we don't really know what exactly. It's very reminiscent of early days of Kingpin.
And you got to remember, like this Ultimate Universe, there's really not supposed to be any heroes, right?
Yeah, the maker made it so that they didn't exist.
Yeah, the maker made this universe where really only the villains existed in power.
Yeah.
Like this Spider-Man now existing in the Ultimate Universe is an anomaly. Like it wasn't supposed to happen. And right now the Wakanda thing, like there's really no superhero there. It's just
right. And Wakanda's still closed off. They're very insular and they don't really want to interact with the outside world.
Yeah. So it's been, it's really been interesting that because in a way, Peter's the first hero. In the Ultimate Universe this time. Theoretically. Now I'm sure there's others out there we just haven't seen.
And like the new previews comes out tomorrow. And I haven't had time to sit down and look at it yet. But like I did see that the first issue of the new Ultimates book is in there.
Right. Yeah.
So we're only a few months removed from having the first Ultimate superhero team. So I'm excited to see where what happens with that.
It should be Ultimate.
Should be.
I mean, at this point, do we just call them the Ultimate Ultimates?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Amazing Fantastic Ultimates?
The Ultra Matrix.
Next up is the final issue of Somna. It's Somna number 3. Issue 3.
So I will say, once again, this book is beautiful. Both artists do an amazing job.
I would show you pictures, but I have to find a page first.
Yeah, you got to make sure you're not showing any nudity because there's a bit.
There's a tad. There's a wee tad.
But, the book is set Salem Witch Trials era.
Here, I found a page.
Oh, nope. There's one in the background. Batman Damned all over again. And the story itself is somewhat upsetting because of
it should be
crazy fanaticism.
So here's the real word art is done by Becky Cloonan. So
the main character's husband is a witch finder. Like his whole job is tracking down witches and bringing them to justice. And so his wife starts having nightmares and he comes home from chasing witches and his wife is basically pantomiming having intercourse in her sleep, which in her dreams she's having sex with the devil or whatever. And he's like, oh no, she's a witch.
Trying to see if there's any word. I don't care.
So this whole issue is
this is Tula Lotte's the dream sequence. Tula Lotte does the dream sequence. Becky Cloonan does the awake sequence.
And both of the art, it's beautiful. The whole thing.
It's all shiny.
It is very shiny. But I won't say how it ends, but it ends in a way that I really, really want it to continue.
I would imagine they'll come back
Like
to it at some
I
point.
really hope we pick up this story at some point in the future because the ending is somewhat ambiguous, which I kind of expected based on the material that they're dealing with. Like anyway, I don't
But it's
wanna,
pretty.
I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, but like this is the
Yeah,
first
there you go.
distillery book that we've gotten a complete story from.
Right.
They're all 3-issue oversized, like magazine sized books. This is the first one that has finished. And I will say I think it's beginning to end, it's fantastic. But it definitely has left the door open to
I
have
would
more
imagine they'll-
stories.
I mean, once again, they're like part owners of this thing. I can't imagine they're not
Yeah.
going to come back to it. I imagine you're going to probably see with these oversized books, you're probably going to see a lot of 3 issues because it's not just like 22 pages. It's
Right, they're huge.
they're huge books, and
They're-
so
yeah, they're-
they'll probably do these, and then they'll probably come back. There'll probably be more next year, and they'll just keep introducing. And then our final Spider book of the week
Spider
is
book.
which one did they? Oh, they did Jackpot first. Jackpot and the Black Cat #1.
Mhm.
They always change the title.
They do.
So that comes out this week, and I have once again I will read this probably tonight or tomorrow. I've enjoyed every book that they've been a part of. If it's had them two in it, it has been wonderful.
This was no exception. It was super fun.
Yeah, they do a really good job. This is ongoing now too, right? Or it's more than a one shot. Yeah,
think-
it's #2. Yeah, it says #2 in the back.
Yeah, I can't remember if this is a mini or if they're
The last few
ongoing.
has been one shots. This is more of a.
this is a bigger story.
They don't really ever say anymore if it's mini or ongoing, but it's probably just a mini series. I'm just saying.
So yeah, the issue of Amazing Spider-Man this week has Jackpot in it, and she and Peter have some super awkward interactions, which is fun. And then in this, she and Black
And
Cat.
she did abandon him.
I'm not gonna say what you usually say in these instances. But basically, Mary Jane's just like, Felicia, we're bros. Let's do some stuff. And Felicia's like, I don't know.
That's funny.
But Felicia's being blackmailed
Huh.
by some mysterious calculator-esque, like I have installed an app on your phone and I'm giving you instructions kind of guy.
Yeah, that seems to track for some unknown reason.
Yeah. So of course Mary Jane's like, well, now I have to know what's going on. I have to help you.
She's so nosy.
And Felicia's got a girlfriend.
Really?
Yep.
Do we meet her? in
We
this
do.
issue? Oh,
We do.
that's cool.
Very briefly. We just see her interact with Felicia and they're adorable together. And then Mary Jane's like, why didn't you tell me you had a girlfriend? And Felicia's like, so
I ain't got to tell you everything.
yeah. So anyway, the girlfriend is being threatened. So Felicia's doing stuff that she normally wouldn't do because threats. Although I will say at the beginning of it, like Felicia's robbing a casino at the same time that Jackpot is there trying to stop a thing. And then it's like, wait, I recognize that guy. Who is that? It's Chance. Do you remember him?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you will.
He hadn't shown up in a long time.
The most famous Chance related comics are Amazing Spider-Man 298 and 299. McFarlane's first 2 issues,
Right.
leading into
That's
300. Yeah. And like
That
after
might
that,
be the last time you've ever seen
I
Chance.
feel like I've seen him once or
Maybe.
once or twice since then, but like that was a long time ago. Well, she and Peter broke up a while ago. Like a while ago.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was at the beginning of this Spider-Man run, and what we're up to 43.
Yeah. Yeah. They
So-
were together for like 12 of those issues, I think. And then they went on vacation accidentally with Mary Jane and Paul.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. And then she dumped him
Yeah.
easily.
There's also a bit in the Spider-Man book where Tombstone's lawyer shows up and she was like, we had a date. And Peter's like, we had a date? What is happening? It was really
That's funny.
And that's when Mary Jane shows up, and he's like, "How long are you there?" And she was like, "Not that long." The whole time she was there, the whole time.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was entertaining. They have, like, I remember reading Spider-Man back in the 80s with the Foreigner and all that stuff when Black Cat and Spider-Man were kind of on again, off again. That's what they should do. They should be casino themed. Jackpot and Blackjack. That should be their names. Yeah.
So what's your pick of the week, Tess?
I didn't have one.
Did you read anything this week?
I read
Last week? Some week?
I've been rereading a bunch of things, so nothing new. I know, it's very silly.
So I forgot to talk to Jacqueline about this earlier. Phoebe mentioned this to me a while ago, and she had watched the first few episodes, and we are now 8 episodes into the first season of Delicious in Dungeon, which is an anime based on a manga, and we only have volumes like 7 through 10 here. But it's a group of adventurers that go into a dungeon, and they don't have any food, so they start cooking the monsters that they kill in the dungeon. And it's super cute and super fun, and I'm loving it. The distributor that I normally get stuff from, this particular manga publisher, they're all out. So I've talked to Jacqueline because she orders from the other distributors.
I'll let you answer Brian's, because I'm not gonna bring the show down.
All right, so X-Men 97, I can tell you that I have not watched it. And Cyclops has been amazing since Grant Morrison's run. When Cyclops transformed slowly over 5 years from Cyclops into Magneto, he became awesome and has continued to be awesome since then. My guess is the rest of the world's just figuring it out. I don't know.
Yeah, because
I have a friend who watched it and was extremely passionate about why Cyclops has always been the best ever.
He's not always been the best ever, because for a long
Gregory?
No.
Because for a long time, Cyclops was that nerdy kid in class, and he was like, "Actually, you gave us homework based on chapters 9 through 12, not 9 through 10." Like, that was Cyclops early days.
And it's the X-Men, so I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, like, he's not an X-Men fan, and I vaguely remember the cartoon from when it was on back in the late 90s, but I didn't watch it like a lot of people did.
And yeah, I mean,
I
watched some of it, but
in 97, 98, I had an infant to take care of. I didn't really have a lot of time to watch a lot of cartoons.
I watched a lot of cartoons back then, but it's
Not
still
that.
the X-Men.
Well, you're not really an X-Men guy.
Yeah,
and
I'm not a
get that.
huge X-Men. I love Marvel. I am not an X-Men fan. It's just not my thing.
So, Brian, I would counter your terrorist Cyclops with leader of an oppressed minority who is fed up with being oppressed. That is how I would counter your terrorist Cyclops. If it was in a comic I didn't read. If terrorist Cyclops was a mental projection from Emma, I did not read those comics. I read Grant Morrison's run because
I read Grant Morrison
because it was Grant Morrison.
It was Grant Morrison. Right.
Yeah, it ended stupid.
So when
whatever.
Yeah, when Marvel let Grant Morrison write X-Men, they let Grant Morrison write.
Yeah.
They didn't ask him to write a superhero comic. They asked him to write the X-Men like he would.
And he was like, "I'm going to start this with a genocide. Is that cool?" And they were like, "Sure, man, do what you want."
And so I think the reason that the ending fell flat is because he basically had to bring it back in for the next writer.
Yeah.
But he kind of finished his story before that last
that weird like time jump thing where they brought Phoenix back and like Beak had muscles. I don't know. It was very strange.
Yeah. But for me, I love any Grant Morrison stuff that's not rooted in a standard Marvel or DC book.
And that's fair. Yeah.
Like anything that he writes, I love. Like We Three, Klaus, which has probably become one of my favorite books of all time. Like any of that stuff that he writes, I love. But like if they try to get him to write a purely superhero book, I just don't think he cares. Because it's not he's not overly excited about it.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, well, I'll just write these characters bland like everyone else writes these characters.
I did, and I will say that like it wasn't just Grant Morrison's run on X-Men, but like the first 25 issues of Astonishing X-Men, we got to see Cyclops really be a better character than we had seen before. And like I have not been reading X-Men religiously. I read House and Powers when Hickman took over, and I read like the first year or so of Hickman's X-Men. But X-Men did what it always does. It's like, all right, so if two X-Men comics will tell the story, we need 8 X-Men comics
To tell the story.
to tell us. And I'm like, it's too many. It's too much. I can't keep up.
I did not see Claremont at GalaxyCon.
I did not go to
I think
GalaxyCon.
Gregory
did.
Gregory saw Claremont, but I did not.
Yeah.
I was there probably for a total of 2 hours, and then I left.
I was there
That
for
was-
0 hours because I was here.
Me too.
Yeah, we went. Jacqueline and I went to Friday. We did not go Saturday and Sunday because of crowds.
Although
many
I will
crowds.
say a person that pretends to be an X-Men fanboy came in and tried to gatekeep comics from Test today.
Really?
So, yeah.
I don't even think he knew what he was talking about. He just wanted
Well,
to be mean to me.
Then what he said is true.
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
He came in and was asked, he was just a weirdo. I
Right.
don't know. He was making fun of me.
So he was one of those guys that if you wear a band shirt, he's asking, I bet
Oh,
you don't know 5 songs.
100%.
Yeah.
He was like, who wrote Giant Size X-Men? I was like, I don't know.
don't
Not
know.
Chris Claremont. He was like, actually, yes, Chris Claremont. And Gregory was like, no.
Yeah, I learned last week that it wasn't Chris Claremont that wrote Giant Size X-Men. I thought it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was Dave Cockrum.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know who I thought it was?
Mm.
I never put one iota of thought in it whatsoever. So yeah,
Well,
I
you
never
know-
had a thought on it.
Claremont started with X-Men 94 with the new X-Men, and I just assumed he wrote Giant Size that introduced the characters, but no, it was Dave Cockrum.
There you go.
Mhm.
Wow.
And
The
now I
more
know.
you know.
Yeah.
Rainbow.
Rainbow.
Yeah, you can't fix stupid.
No, he can't. He's gonna come back in, the guy though, and he's gonna be like, "Did you read the series I recommended you?"
What series did he recommend to you?
Justice by Alex Ross.
Oh,
I
God.
found it for him because he was like, "I can't find it, but I doubt you can find it because you're just a girl." And then I found it.
Once again, I am glad that I was not here
Yeah.
because that may not have ended well for said child.
No.
So, there's a few things that will irritate me. That is one of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
good
come on.
times.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like you're an idiot.
For
Move
real.
along.
for real. For real.
Yeah, people still do it all. We don't understand, Brian, why people like.
Yeah, I don't get it
it's-
either.
It happens all the time.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure. Like, we have political books in here, and you know what? Not one day have I seen any of these books go vote or
Mm-mm.
sign up to be able to vote. Like, not once have I.
But boy, do the people that hate him love to leave comments on Facebook.
Yes, they do.
They do. They do.
Like, I'm sitting there going, like, what these?
Why even?
Like, I guarantee you that not a single one of these books in here has ever voted for any political party.
Mm-mm.
Not once.
Mm-mm.
I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess it's not zero. Like, one of them may. I mean, one of them
Nothing
may
is
have
zero.
snuck out on a Tuesday and,
Yeah.
and voted, but like, come on, people. Political books.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is a story of my life. It's political. Get off
People,
my lawn.
people other than me existing, that's too
No.
political. What?
Uh,
Oh my god.
I typed up a comment and then deleted it
uh,
because I was like, there's no
I didn't
point in
even. Yeah,
engaging.
I didn't.
No point.
I was like,
No.
if I decided to comment, I'm going to comment as me because I want you to
Same.
know it's me.
Yeah, same. I was also typing as me, and then I was like, you know what? It's not going to change anything.
Mhm.
I remember the last time I talked to this guy, and nope.
No.
I mean,
Nope.
like if that's your argument for not coming in here, is you have books that I don't want to read, then I don't.
I will say some of my favorite discourse on the internet right now, and it's about the X-Men cartoon. When did the X-Men go woke? I'm like 1963.
Like, how is that even an argument?
It's like the people that complain, when did Star Trek get woke?
Like, what? Have you never read an
Oh my
X-Men
God.
book or
Yeah.
never watched Star Trek? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole point of
Man.
it's the whole point of like being completely different and coming together and
Yep.
doing things. It's hilarious. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the thing that I thought was really funny about the X-Men too. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yes, I am sorry that happened to you. And if I'm
it's
ever
okay.
here and they come in again, please let me.
I will let you.
Yes.
Don't you worry.
Please let me know.
Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah, I need the.
We can have a lot of fun with that. I basically told him to go away and not come back because he was saying mean things about me, so I said mean things about him.
Good.
And it was all in like a joking manner.
Oh yeah, that makes it all better.
Yeah.
I'm watching a documentary on Max right now about how it's fine because it's in a joking manner.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be. I watched 2 episodes. I'm not going to watch the rest of it.
Don't.
Quiet on the Set, the Nickelodeon thing.
It's
Yeah, I don't-
awful.
Mm,
Don't watch it.
no.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I saw stuff coming out about that this week, and Jacqueline goes, "Oh, there's this thing here." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going there."
No, I should not have watched as much as I did. The first episode was okay.
Mhm.
Like I got enough out of Jeanette McCurdy's book.
Yeah. Oh, so a lot of it's quotes from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I
Like,
just read that as well.
I love that book.
It's so good.
I love that book.
It was so good.
Like, if
But-
if I've ever related to a book in my life,
Mhm.
it's Jeanette McCurdy's book. I'm glad my mom's dead. Yeah, I will stay away from that and watch it. I actually watched my Josie and the Pussycats the other night.
Did you?
Yes, I did. It
I-
showed up on YouTube movie.
My DVD's up there, so if you ever need to watch it,
I found mine the other day,
Okay.
but I watched it again. That movie is
there's a high likelihood it's getting put on first thing tomorrow. when I
that
get
movie
here.
that movie, like every time I watch it, and even this time, right? Like I forget things because I'm old. I forget things. And then like when Josie has the falling out with the Pussycats, I forgot that when they go back to their room and pack, like everything is the old Target logo with buy more, pay less type stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. The movie is so good.
Du jour means family.
Brian, it truly is. I think at the end of the day, Josie and the Pussycats is probably a top 5 movie for me
Mhm.
because it is too smart. Like people who don't like that movie is usually it is over their head smart.
Yeah.
It is a very smart movie.
I had
Like it comes off, and the perfect example is Tar Reed in this movie. It comes off as the most idiotic thing you've ever seen in your life, but yet at the end of the day, it's the smartest thing that you'll
if
ever
she
see.
could go back in time and meet anyone, she'd meet Snoopy.
It is amazing.
It is a really brilliant social commentary about commercialism
Yeah.
and the music industry.
And it has one of the best cast.
It does.
Like, it's amazing.
Alan Cummings and Parker Posey, like
They
the
are
king
brilliant.
and queen of indie movies.
They
from
are
the
brilliant
90s.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are brilliant. So
Rosario Dawson, Rachel Lee Cook.
Rachel Lee Cook.
Like it's so good.
Yeah, I was showing the end of it. And Jacqueline was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "That's Rosario Dawson." She goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, you got to remember this movie's like over 20 years old now.
And there's a bit where they're all on a plane and they're like their manager's there and his sister's there, and she says some snarky thing, and they're like, "Why are you even here?" And she's flipping through a magazine. She's like, "Because I was in the comic." And like they just move on. It's like, they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even a long dialogue. It's
Yeah.
like one thing.
The
and
movie is very self-aware. It's very
Yeah.
self-deprecating, and it is absolute brilliant social commentary with a phenomenal soundtrack. If you're familiar with Letters to Cleo, their first hit was off the Melrose Place soundtrack. And then they did the music for 10 Things I Hate About You. They actually showed up. They were in the movie twice.
Yep.
And I love Letters to Cleo. I've been a fan of them forever. And then the lead singer, whose name escapes me at the moment, she did all the music. She is the voice of Josie.
Right.
And the music's great, except for the 2 du jour songs that are on the soundtrack, which are amazing. They are 100% just making fun of the manufactured boy bands.
Jacqueline asked me the other
God.
night. She was like, "How many people do you think understood the name du jour?" I'm like,
Very
probably,
few.
I'm like, probably not as many as you think.
I've explained it to a lot of people.
like
Oh my
du
God.
jour. Like
People are like,
and even the cast for du jour, even though they only show up like twice.
And the cast of du jour, it's Donald Faison from Scrubs. It's Breckin Meyer. It is Seth Green, and then random guy who I think was actually in a boy band. I can't remember who
he was
he
actually
is.
in a boy band. Yeah,
I think it was like a 98 Degree in Sync guy or something. I don't know, but anyway, the movie's brilliant. I highly recommend it. If you need to borrow the DVD, I have it. It's in the shop. You can borrow it anytime.
we're getting there, Brian. We're getting on the podcast. Like I said, we're still working through stuff, and I showed up to the shop last Tuesday to do this show, and I showed up this Tuesday to do this show.
Yeah.
So I have not really been here a whole lot. So we're still putting stuff together. We'll probably have more. We'll probably announce something closer we get to Free Comic Book Day or right after Free Comic Book Day. We've got to go get some. We've like I said last time, we've come up with a name, but we haven't told anyone yet because we got to go get stuff, right? Like we don't want to say something and all of a sudden it just disappear because you know how Facebook listens to everything.
I do have someone working on a logo for us. So we'll see how it goes.
So Josie's
I didn't know it was
Peacock.
on Peacock.
Yeah,
That's
neither.
awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Everyone should go watch Josie.
You should.
Everyone should go watch.
Absolutely should.
It's perfect. But we'll have more stuff on that. And then so not next week, but the week after, we'll start talking about next week we'll probably start talking about Free Comic Book Day too, because we're basically getting ready to be a month out from a Free Comic Book Day.
So next week's going to be a weird week.
And we'll let them figure it out next week.
All right.
Yeah, tune in next week. It'll be super special.
Next week, you should tell your friends and then tell them to tell their friends.
You should tell everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you should do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we better go. Tess is falling asleep over there listening to us.
I've been asleep for 25 minutes. So
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. We appreciate you joining us. We will talk to you later. Y'all have a good week and bye.
Bye.
It was weird not having